Oh, the music. Does it just wash over you, this wave of everything's going to be okay now? Bob's here with Law of Attraction stuff. We're all going to be okay. I wish there was an easier way to do this. You know, where it fades out. I was going to take the time this morning and say, just record a version of it that fades out automatically so you don't have to do that quick cut, Bob. That's tacky. You're a professional. And I told myself immediately, I'll get right on that, and then didn't do it. So once again, hey, look, I just got a reminder from Facebook, and it says you had requested a reminder when Bob Doyle goes live with Law of Attraction questions, and I just got that reminder. I wonder how you might get a reminder like that. I happen to know, and I happen to have provided it in link form in the comments right under this video. And all you have to do is go to bobdoyleshow.com/LOA notify. Again, I can't see your names. There's something wrong with my magical device that shows me your picture and tells me your name. So I'm going to have to do it the old school way, which is fine. I was going to do it that way anyway. It's just an extra layer of, oh, listen, it's me. Okay, so Kathy and Dawn and Leanne and Sarah. Well, it's the gang. You know, the people who know all of everything I'm about to say anyway. But who couldn't use a reminder every now and then, am I right? Marion, unbelievable. See, now I'd love to be able to share, because a miracle has already happened, ladies and gentlemen. Now, you may not know this. Let's see what happens when I actually try to share this. It doesn't even work, right? So there's something, that's too bad. Something's messed up with my vMix social. Well, all right, I'll make a note of that. So I can't share your comments on the screen that way, so I have to do it the old-fashioned way back up here. So now I've said old-fashioned way a couple of times. That's not really good. And Steve is here as well. So we got Marion in from Bozeman. Where's everybody else from? I never ask that. I never say that. And that's like a law, apparently, about live streaming. You have to take time to say, so where's everybody, whatever you're doing in? Where are you Facebooking from? Back in the Periscope days, it was always, where are you scoping from? Bozeman, Montana. New Orleans, Louisiana. Atlanta, Georgia. Look, I'm from Atlanta. I can make that joke. So Charlene is here too. Wow, we've just got all the group coaching gang from present and past time just all huddled up together in a big group hug. That's what I like. Big virtual. Can you feel the hugs right now? Oh, sorry. I forgot about your back. Berlin. See, we've got Leanne coming in from Berlin. Oh, wait. You're not seeing the comments yet because something. What's going on? Look, we're not here to talk about the technical anything. What we're here to talk about is this mug. No, we're not. We're here to talk about your Law of Attraction questions. But I should say that this Law of Attraction Q&A is a part of the Bob Doyle Show, which is a daily thing that happens in 7:30. In 7:30. It happens exactly in 7:30 on weekday mornings. That's Monday through Friday for you and me. And Wednesday is the day we choose to do the Law of Attraction stuff, because you see, that is part of my life. There are folks out there who know me as a Law of Attraction teacher, one of the teachers featured in the film and book The Secret. Again, you probably know this already. But you know, But I also do other things. I just like for people to know that, you know, I'm not just one of those people who does the Law of Attraction, teaches the Law of Attraction, and that's it. I teach the Law of Attraction as one way to express the knowledge I've gained in my lifetime. And then the other things I do are more ways to express my creative nature. And I am an advocate for all of you doing the same. To not be defined by your career and only do that, and sometimes feel like, well, I can't do this other stuff because it's not making me money, or it's not who I am, or whatever. people know me as this. You gotta just be you. You gotta be you. You know, it really is that simple. It really does come down to that. Through all the volumes and thousands of years of personal development material out there, the seminars, the angst, the therapy, it all comes down to just be yourself. Because if everybody just did that, if everybody was just themselves and had the freedom to be themselves without being oppressed by other people, controlled by other people, belittled by other people, having their belief systems manipulated by other people, if everyone could just be themselves and live into their natural gifts and put that value out into the world, abundance would be everywhere. Peace and prosperity would prevail. But somewhere along the line, we all kind of get off track of being ourselves. And some people turn into just really nasty versions of who they could have been. And we hear about them on the news. They just got off path and then tried to rebel and gain some kind of control. And the way they did it was they went down this weird path. They got wired crazy, and now there's lunatics in the world. Didn't have to be that way. Jeff Adams is watching, so everybody be on your worst behavior. Angie Keller Brown, I am looking around, and look, look, right here. Right here. I mean, I didn't even have to dig for them. Angie Keller Brown, my pinky is pointing at her name, she's responsible for this. And this. And I give her a plug every single time. Dawn, why are you sad? Don't be sad. And Max Ryan is watching. Did anybody catch I'm digressing. I'll get back to the law of attraction in a second, but remember, this is part of the Bob Doyle Show. Yesterday afternoon at 4 o'clock, we previewed the Mug Life app. It's crazy. Facial animation. And Max here was inadvertently featured. And he's saying hi now. See? We're having a conversation right in the middle of this. That's the beautiful of whatevers. I'm putting that on a t-shirt. That's the beautiful of whatevers. So anyway, I am here on Wednesdays to answer your law of attraction questions, as you can clearly tell, because I've just been answering them one right after the other. We do have a check-in from Reno, Nevada. And I have to cross-reference because this... Oh, now see, what's interesting is Music Heals, who is a somewhat frequent listener to this... See, now her comments work, and I see her picture and everything. But the Facebook stuff is what's broken. So she says, Rykov effect is a knowledge I came to know. It's so cool. How can you link it with LOA? Is it connected with subconscious mind? It doesn't distinguish between real and imaginary. So for those of you who don't know, the Rykov effect is a product put out by a company called Inspire 3. It's based on basically it's a program that gives you the experience of acting as if basically you have the genius of another person, any person you choose. So there is a lot of what she suggested in that. I mean, I can't go off too long on the Rykov effect, but the answer to your question basically is yes, it is connected, and it's opening yourself. Wow, I really can't get into the depth of it right now because I'm realizing that, but I think you're on the right track. But definitely you link it with the LOA. It's basically a massive visualization process that you can kind of take to a different level. Sorry if that got people derailed, but I was just so excited to actually be able to share a comment and a question. Here's a question I got from someone named Smith the other day that I remember from 2 days ago. And Smith likes to ask the question. I can tell. What I can't tell is Smith a skeptic? Is he trying to call me out? Because the nature of his questions, it could be read either way. But you know what? He hasn't said anything nasty to me, and he's asking fair questions. And so the question he asked the other day was basically because I refer to universal intelligence a lot. The universal intelligence that's behind the law of attraction and all the other laws out there that govern how the universe works. I mostly talk about the law of attraction. So what is this and I also talk about how, when we are stuck and we're spinning in our head trying to find out what to do, where are the answers, it's because we are basically blocking off our own access, our own natural access to this creative intelligence of which we are a part and an outcome of, right? So what is this creative intelligence? And so that's where we get into the, God, source, universe, all that is, whatever you call it. Now, I really do not... I've had this conversation on these programs before. this whole thing of whatever you want to call it can be very offensive to people who have a very close personal, what we would call more a theological or a religious relationship with God or whatever it is. And so this whole idea that we take the word God out of it or we try to whatever can be offensive. And I want to be sensitive to that, and at the same time, it is a name. And we can, others who don't share that exact same relationship with the creative nature of the universe, our creator, whatever, we can still have our own very powerful, very real relationship to it. So I try to be as generic as possible, yes. And I know that sometimes makes people think that we're leaving God out of it or something like that. And I really don't factor the religious aspects of this or organized religion or faith of any like that into this. The universe is, and it is miraculous, and we are a part of it. And there are incredibly complex systems that make it work and create. It's the brilliance in it is mind-boggling. We can't even fathom it. Just the human being alone is just. There's no way, right? But there is obviously some intelligence around it, and that is responsible for all of this, and that's what I'm calling the creative intelligence. And I don't expect to ever understand it fully, unless maybe when we're out of this form, we get rid of all the wiring and the brain stuff that keeps us limited and disconnected, and suddenly we're free and connected again, and we go, oh yeah, right, I remember now, right? But until that time, let's try and enjoy the human experience. I often think sometimes that there's so many people trying to transcend the human experience, right? They go off in the mountains and they just sit there to become enlightened or whatever. They're missing. What are you saying, Bob? But what if the goal of being a human is not to transcend the experience, but to have it? Because, we only have it for a short amount of time. Whatever's next or was before, we'll go back to that, whatever that was. So why are we rushing it? We got this one opportunity to be able to feel the range of emotions and to feel the physical and to be creative in the way that we can uniquely be creative here, right? Why not ride the ride? There's a whole school of thought that said we signed up for this, that we consciously chose to come into this form, to have the experience, not to escape it. And not to transcend it. Just a thought. Okay, Angie says, I find myself constantly jumping to different ways of manifesting or attracting and just end up scatterbrained. Right, because the ego wants this instant result type of thing, and if it doesn't work on your timetable, you go on to the next thing, go on to the next thing, go on to the next thing. When you can truly trust the process and let go of any timetable or attachment or how it should look or how any of that, if you're comfortable, if a manifesting technique resonates with you, whatever it is, and there are many, do you just stick with it, right? And when that first thought that comes up that says, this isn't happening fast enough, or maybe you should try another one, just remember that you were good with this process. You've already checked. You've already said, no, I get this. I know this to be true. Now I just have to do it, and I have to stop derailing myself. So it's just about consistency and commitment, Max says, it's a fun adventure. Right. We chose to be here. I won't know that for sure until later, I'm sure. But I like the idea. But regardless, you don't even have to believe that we chose to be here or that something's next. We're here. We're here, and we have all of this. Why would you categorically deny 90% of it in order to be enlightened or quiet or still or whatever? And I'm not saying that's not valuable. Guys, I meditate many times a day. I go to that space. You need to go to that space. You need to reconnect to source, to quiet things down, to disconnect from all the noise, and to remember who you really are. But I'm not sure that the goal is to stay there, because there's this adventure to be had, and it has its ups and its downs and its crazy, wild rides. And at the end of it, you have a whole lifetime of stories and accomplishments and things you overcame and tragedies and triumphs and the whole thing. Otherwise, you're at the end of your life and go, yeah, I spent 50 years in a mountain. Or I had my eyes closed and I zenned out and I didn't do anything in commune and I just And now I'm going to move on to probably kind of a different version of that. I don't know. Again, just thinking some thoughts. We're just playing around here. We're philosophers. Hi, Jeffrey. So see, Max said, if you've had I missed this comment. If you've ever had a near-death experience like he has, you get it, and that's what I hear, right? So I guess I'm fortunate that I have not had to deal with a near-death experience. But the people who have had them, and I know a handful, right? They no longer have the doubt or even the angst about death necessarily. You know, they have gained access to something, even if it's just a thought, even if it's just, look guys, even if it's just a reframe, it's a powerful way to look at life. There's no benefit from angst about what's next, worrying about what's next. There's no, you're here right now, and opportunities around you to enjoy your life are everywhere. And how many of those do you tune out? Here's oh, all right. Nino's got a question, and then I'm going to ask you the tough question. How do we know the difference between... Now, didn't I answer this for you last week? I think I did. How do we know the difference between patience and the need to make changes in what we were doing? I know I addressed this last week. Been living intentionally and trying to use the principle of the law of attraction with visible. So I answered this question last week, I think on this very broadcast. But I talked about the ego and how it feels, and like the ego is going to try to rush you through changes. It's not going to be satisfied with what's going on. Oh, you need to make this change. It's a different feeling than being patient and taking inspired action and hearing a nudge from the universe and basically hearing your intuition. So, hi, Melanie. Melanie and Max, look at this. These two in the room, and now you have to go back and watch yesterday's 4 o'clock live demonstration of the Mug Life app and go to 9 minutes, and you'll see these two knuckleheads. They weren't knuckleheads until I animated them, and then, they look as silly as I do in the background. You just can't wait to go see it, can you? Well, you got to wait. We still got a few more minutes here together to answer your questions and so on. So, okay, Nino, yeah, I guess I'd seen your question or whatever and then maybe answered it the day after, but it is there. And just a reminder, this is a prime opportunity to remind each and every one of you that all of these are archived. I don't even know how many hours and hours and hours of these live, free Law of Attraction Q&As are available for your viewing pleasure. Absolutely free of charge. That's right. All right, so I'm gonna dump this one on you now. Now this is going to be like, I'm going to set up the scenario and you're going to be like, Bob, whoa, stop talking. But it goes right along with what we've been talking about here. Now just bear with me and see, you got to stay with me. You don't want to bail in the middle of this. You don't want to do that. All right. So, maybe you're walking around your life with a huge fear, like the big one, or maybe you got a couple of them. A range of things. It could be a deadly illness. It could be, I'm painting grim pictures here, guys. It could be being homeless. It could be being in jail. It could be being just the worst, whatever the worst possible situation you fear. The one that just, it's the worst case scenario that's probably never going to happen, but it's the one that your ego clings to as fear, right? Maybe you got a few of them. Do you know what I'm talking about? Okay, now just again, stay with me here. Now imagine, this is an exercise, guys, so do it. Imagine that's where you are. Take a minute, seriously. I probably should have done a formal meditation around this, got you to be present and breathe. But just for now, maybe you can revisit this. So put yourself in that. It's happened. That horrifying thing has happened. And the thing is that that ultimately, somehow, it was a consequence of choices. You can trace it all back somehow to choices that you made, actions that you took or actions that you didn't take. Sometimes there were actions that were right in front of you to take and you didn't do it, right? Or sometimes you did things that you probably shouldn't have done or whatever. But now you're in this position. And now You're sitting there in the worst feeling possible of it or whatever. Feels pretty good, right? Okay. So now, bing, some entity, call it an angel, call it a robot from the future. It doesn't really matter. But what this entity does is, let's say it's going to show you 7 key moments. We'll start easy. 5. 5 key moments in your life. There's little screens appear where if you had done something differently in any of these 5 key moments in your life, you would not be in this situation. Are you with me? So you're in there, you're wallowing, you're just filled with regret. Oh! And now right in front of you, bing, 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 bing. 5 things. And you look at these things and you go, I remember that, I remember that, I remember that. And you might look at it and go, I remember why I didn't make that choice that would have changed all this because my ego said, what will so-and-so think? I didn't make this choice because I was too tired. I didn't make this choice that day because I said I would do it the next day. Right? I didn't make this choice because I didn't think anybody would like it. Nobody would approve of it. I didn't make this. Do you see what I'm saying? Thank you, Jeffrey. That's a very nice thing for you to say. I'm referring to this line right here. What I'm saying is, guys, you don't want to be in that position, looking back and going, oh, that thing, it would have been so. Maybe it's hard. Maybe that's why you're not doing it. But if you had done it, that you wouldn't be in that situation. It's a fun imagination exercise. It isn't so fun. But what it does is it empowers you to wake you up and look at the choices that you're making each and every day and how you rationalize and go, I can make a better choice later. I've got later. I've got later. I've got later. I'll do it later. I'll do it when I've got less resistance. I'll do it when I feel a little more energetic. I'll do it when I have more money. I'll do it when they say it's okay. Right? And that's what we do until we're there. And then we go, wait, I had a choice 30 years ago and I didn't follow my dream because they said this was the responsible thing. And now here I am. Jeffrey, I'm glad you're in the room because I know if there's anybody here who appreciates the moment and life and so on, it is you, sir. Okay, so see, we've got consensus. Right under here it says, well, it says other stuff. It'll get there eventually. You can see it. Anyway, if I can just wake up a couple of people. Because I know I do it constantly. I rationalize not taking action all freaking day. And I'll take the Bob Doyle show as an example. I'm sure over the past year or so, there is so much I could have done. People I could have called, things I could have done to make it bigger audience, so on and so forth and so on. And I just kept saying, well, whatever. And I think, well, where would I be now if I had taken that action? I'd be right there. But I didn't, so I'm right here and filled with regret. Okay. All right, let's see. There's so many words. What people would think. Leanne, exactly what we discussed yesterday. Sarah and Leanne had a discussion yesterday. Irma! That was my life when I was listening to everyone else. Now I have some self-confidence. Oddly enough, things are looking up. See, not that odd. It again comes down to be yourself, love yourself. Love yourself, be yourself. Love yourself, be in yourself. Be the love of yourself. Love the being of yourself. Yeah, just do that. The problem is, for a lot of people, they've been being some version of themselves, and as a result, they've attracted this sort of chaotic sort of, well, this isn't exactly what I had in mind kind of idea, because they were bending to other people's expectations, and they said, well, I'll play this role here, I'll play this role here, I won't speak my mind here, I'll repress this creative thing here, I'll put this off till later, blah, 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 all the while thinking they're living their life, and then they get in there and they go, wait a minute, what happened? Why am I not happy? Why am I not satisfied? Why am I not making enough money? Why is this relationship not what I thought it was going to be? Blah, 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 blah. It's because somewhere along the line you took who you were and you said, I'll tell you what, to make this conversation easier, I'll bend a little bit and be a little bit of who you want me to be. And we do that with so many people that we meet and so many situations that we're in. Bob, you got to adjust a little bit to social society and all that. Yes, I suppose you do. But who are the people that are really getting the attention in the world and doing these crazy ass things? I'll tell you, changing the world, they're the ones who don't do that. They don't care about adjusting to society's expectations. And thank God, right? So what invention, what life-changing philosophy, what thing, what is the world not going to experience because you're playing small? Because you're trying to live into the expectations of other people. You know, to please others and just to be who they expect you to be. What isn't getting done in the world? What isn't being shared? Who isn't being helped? What value is not being imparted? Because you're saying that what they think of me is more important than what I know myself to be. And in fact, I'm going to now not know myself as this anymore, or tell myself I'm not that anymore, and somehow try to be happy. The further you are off alignment with who you really are, and the life, if you're not living that, the further off from that you are, the less happy you'll be. That makes sense, doesn't it? I didn't even need a high school diploma for that one. I'll bet you could ask your local 4-year-old and they would tell you that. I don't know who said that, but, oh, it's Dawn, yes. I have water and coffee. I had to balance it out. Just like yesterday afternoon. This is only my 3rd cup. Yesterday I was on my 4th cup by broadcast time. That was too much. And now I'm out. I have to go to the grocery store. That's right. I have to go out into public. And you know how that can be. Oh, walking down the street. Bob Doyle from The Secret. Ugh, I don't know how I get anything done. I don't know how. I mean, can you imagine? Just going to the grocery store. Now, you know what's really true about that is when I used to write checks. Remember when people did that, and I would write, Bob Doyle, and they'd look at me and their brain would stop working, and they'd say something goofy like the politician. Meaning, of course, Bob Dole, not at all what I look like, will ever look like, have ever looked like. Why would they even? And, of course, my answer for years and years, well, I got a Y in my name. No, there's a Y in there. It's Doyle. I got a Y in there. One day you'll see. One day I'll be on The Secret. And then everyone will know me, and I won't be able to walk down the street. I've ever shared with you that the truth of the matter is that when out in public, just walking around, I have been recognized one time. That's a true story. You can say, no, Bob, that's impossible. Well, let me tell you something. I'm not a liar. One time in a grocery store, and that person had seen me before at another thing. So now I know I don't look like I did 11 years ago. Okay? I've got glasses on. That's really the only difference. I'm still wearing black. I've got the beard. My hair's, never recognized. So that's okay. Do I have my clips from The Secret spliced together somewhere? Says someone. Irma? Actually, I do not. The last time I watched The Secret was, I know this for weird reasons, but it was about 5 years ago, and it was with Lynn, and she was skipping through to find my parts, because, Wasn't that sweet, right? And every time I watch it, I go, oh, I forgot they were in there. I forgot they were in there. I forgot they were in there. So I haven't seen it in forever. And no, I don't. I've never spliced them all together. Because I don't want to know how little I'm in there. 2.5 minutes? What? All this time I thought I was half the film. I thought this was based on my life. Okay, there's really some great stuff in the comments as I've just been rattling off nonsense. So if you're listening to this as the audio podcast, yes, that's a thing, and you're not seeing the comments, well, get on Facebook, will you, and go find this page. It's the Bob Doyle Show page on Facebook, and you'll find all of these things, and you'll meet all of these amazing people that you've been hearing me say their names. You'll get to see faces and the whole thing. Come on, and if you're on YouTube, come on over to Facebook. Be part of the community. Come on, Music Heals. Come on in and invite millions of other people. All right. I'm gone a little long. So, well, I hope we had fun. I know I had fun, but I always have fun. If the place had... There's no way I wouldn't have had fun. Okay, so just get that thought out of your mind, if it was in there. So tomorrow morning, 7:30, the Bob Doyle Show comes back, and it's Virtual Reality Day. What might I have planned? Honestly, tossing around a couple of different things. So I don't know exactly what it's going to be, but I can tell you that you don't want to miss it. You may think you do, but I'm just telling you you're wrong.